Hi, I'm Cataclysmic Kitten, and today I wanted to talk about borderline personality disorder and how it affects me. Also wanted to talk to you about the Diagnostic Statistical Manual. A new one came out, the 5th edition, and I wanted you to know some of the diagnostic criteria that will diagnose you with this disorder, which you don't want, but things happen and you got to deal with it, right? So when it comes to diagnosing borderline personality disorder and other personality disorders, your professionals that you see are going to evaluate you and see if you meet these criteria. Symptoms in the DSM-V is that you must meet 5, I think it is, a pervasive pattern of instability and interpersonal relationships, self-image and effects, and marked impulsivity beginning in early childhood and present in a variety of contexts as indicated by 5 or more of the following. I am going to have breaks in between this so I can share my personal story in a quick little way so you're not bored. Number 1, frantic efforts to avoid real or imagined abandonment. This is one of the ones that I really struggle with. And I know when I'm struggling with it, and I know that it doesn't seem that it's going to happen in the back of my rational mind, but the present mind is constantly, the cogwheels are turning, and it's very hard to get out of that thought process. So that is a very prevalent one among people with borderline personality disorder. Number 2 is a pattern of unstable and intense interpersonal relationships characterized by alternating between extremes of idealization and devaluation. Also, this is called splitting. They don't use that in the DSM because that's a little slang term. There are a lot of extremes that I go through. It's a love-hate kind of relationship. Like if someone doesn't call me and they say that they would to talk and try to help me episode, I will get mad. I will take someone I completely love to death and hate them with a passion the next moment something doesn't go right. I know that sounds very selfish, but that's not who I am normally. It's just the disorder talking, and I am not my disorder, but it does affect me sometimes. Number 3 is identity disturbance. Markedly and persistently unstable self-image or sense of self. With me, as you can see, if you do follow me or are on Facebook with me, I change my appearance all the time. In the past 3 months, I must have changed my hair 5 times, no lie. And I've been doing that all my life. With the eyebrows to the piercings, sometimes I'll take them out, put them back in. I'll dress a certain way, and so there you go. I have quite an identity disturbance when it comes to trying to express myself, even though that's not quite what they're trying to get across in the DSM, but that's how I take it personally. 4, impulsivity in at least 2 areas that are potentially self-damaging. Substance abuse, binge eating, and reckless driving. That is one that I have actually beat a bit. I was an alcoholic, and I'm now a recovering alcoholic, because you never really get rid of that title, because you're always, once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. But you can battle it, and you can rise above it. Binge eating, I don't do. I am actually kind of different and don't eat. It's not a problem right now, and I hope it doesn't become a problem, but it's just one of my things that I really don't think about. I don't feel like eating, so I won't eat. I do eat 1 meal a day, and That's fine enough for me. Reckless driving? No, I'm actually one of the cautious people. 5. Recurrent suicidal behavior, gestures or threats, or self-mutilating behavior. I do make threats. I really don't like it. When I am mad, I'll make threats. But I actually do feel like I want to do it. And that's very sad. It passes once I get calmed down a lot. And like stated, you don't have to meet all these criteria. And number 6 is affective instability due to marked reactivity of mood. Example is intense episodic dysphoria, irritability, or anxiety, usually lasting a few hours. I do get that a bit. Not for hours, but I am a very irritable person, and I try to lay low with that. I take a lot of my irritability and internalize it. I don't like flipping out on people. They don't deserve it. They don't know what's going on in my head, and I don't want them to know what's going on in my head. I want them to be happy, and I'll smile, and just everything is behind the scenes, because I just don't want them to worry. I did that a lot today and the weekend, even though I was having fun, just sometimes something clicks, and you know what's wrong, but it happens. Number 7, chronic feelings of emptiness. It happens a lot when I'm alone, or in a room full of people, and when no one's talking to me and everyone's having fun, it's like, I don't feel like I should be here. I feel kind of empty, but that also can be my introvert personality. I do get overwhelmed by a lot of people, so I retreat to a place where there's not a lot of people. It's kind of off the subject, but we'll go with that. 8. Inappropriate, intense anger, or difficulty controlling anger. Examples are frequent displays of temper, constant anger, and recurrent physical fights. I don't think I meet that one, personally, but that doesn't mean the psychiatrist feels the same way, because self-diagnosing is the worst thing you could ever do. I do get angry. I get very angry with myself, and I don't let that anger go unless I am completely breaking down. I did that the other night. I let my anger go, and I knew that it was completely unnecessary and horrible. So that actually kind of went by really quickly, but I took my benzodiazepines, Klonopin, so that calmed me down a lot. Ended up falling asleep quite early because of that, but it's better to fall asleep, in my opinion, than to shout random things that somebody does not deserve because your head is acting completely different than what it should be doing. And the last one is transient, stress-related paranoid ideation, or severe disassociated symptoms. I don't disassociate a lot, so I don't know about that one. It would be nice to disassociate, in my opinion, because my mind is constantly running, constantly. I mean, I'm not the most intelligent person in the universe, but I feel that I'm intelligent enough to think deep into any scenario that I see. I'm watching a movie, I think deep into that. But anyway, stress-related paranoid ideation. I don't think I meet that. And I'm proud I don't meet that. So I do meet the criteria for borderline, also known as BPD. And it can't be cured, but you can work on it and manage it. And I've seen people that said they're cured, and really good for them. But, you know, psychiatry and psychology is really not a harder science, and it's very subjective. So I really do believe that some people can lessen the symptoms and not meet the criteria for being diagnosed with BPD. There's also a lot of stigma around people with borderline personality. You go on YouTube, you see people that are like, I dated somebody with BPD, and they're a complete fucking batshit crazy person. I mean, yeah, I do get crazy at times, but I know I'm doing it. I know I'm doing it, and I apologize afterwards and feel horrible and feel like I attack somebody and they don't deserve it. This is my battle. It should be only for me, and it should be internalized, in my opinion, which is unhealthy, but it's better than lashing out at somebody and making them feel bad and remembering the situation and making them feel like they're bad. So that's my personal way of dealing with this, which isn't healthy, like I said, but I have a therapist, and that really helps. At times, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing. There's completely normal, quote-unquote, normal people that don't have disabilities that go to see a therapist just to talk about what goes on in everyday life and what affects them. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this or got some information about this, about the introverted type of borderline. There's a whole bunch of subcategories that aren't very official, but it does kind of help categorize, try to make sense of things to other people. So I'm going to cut it off now. I've been talking too long. And like I said, I hope it helped you out. And really, don't give up. Do not give up. You are not your disorder. I can't stress that enough. And don't use it as an excuse. You have a disorder, you are your own person, and people will love you for you. You're not going to flip out every day. You're not going to want to cut yourself every day. It's just something that sometimes pops up. Triggers happen, and sometimes you don't even know it. So I hope you have a good day, good night, whenever you're watching this, and Cataclysmic Kitten signing out.